Hello and welcome to Keeping Up with the Kerslake. It's me, Steve Kerslake, and I'm here today with Kevin Downton from First Response Site Services, Media Guru. Is that your title, Kev?
No.
What's your title, First Response?
I'm head of marketing officially.
Head of marketing? Come closer.
Yeah, that's my official job title, I believe.
So you do there, you're pretty much, I've known you guys for a little while because you guys are big supporters of construction sport.
Yep.
You've seen it probably from the early stages.
I think from the very start.
Probably
I think when you first came into the offices, Danny was quite a keen supporter.
Yep.
And it was just a case of trying to get on board a little bit more. Because in the early days, you didn't, with all due respect, you didn't really have a lot other than your...
the word is you're looking for.
You didn't have a lot to offer.
Yep.
No, I think you had a lot inside your head. I think you had the passion, which is probably your biggest asset, if I'm honest with you. And I think it was all a bit of a guesswork job.
Yep.
And our job, which Danny was to support you, Danny asked us to, try and help you with some of the ideas that you had, getting them down, which is what we did.
Yeah, no, I'm massively thankful for it. It's literally couldn't have been here without that support, was it? I think you probably used to the Friday afternoon phone call from me at 4 o'clock going, Kev, could you just do something for me to help me out for Monday morning?
Yeah.
And then that ruins your weekend and you
No, I
always
get
say
a
yes.
lot. Nowadays, I tend to get the 7 p.m. one or the 5:30 in the morning
It's changing.
short message.
Just to make sure you're up, really.
Yeah, well, I'm not usually at 5:30, to be honest with you. Especially after these walks you send me on. They were good times, really, because you when you first came into the offices, it was steam.
Yeah, it was, you're right.
We didn't even have construction sport. And I think construction sport came out of conversations that we had regarding where the charity was going to end up, really.
Yeah, and it was. Let's just, for the viewers, the Let Off Steam was kind of the first two names that come together. I think we technically went under Steam, but with the charity commission is under Let Off Steam, and then that's evolved from there, really. Because that used to take like an hour for me to explain to people what it's all about. And now, just when you say construction sport, it is what it is. Yeah,
I think the problem was it meant something to you, but it didn't mean much to other people.
Yeah.
And I think once you got a little bit of clarity about what you actually wanted to do and achieve, you were then able to, I think we did it together probably, we come up with construction sport.
Yeah.
And then it was probably during lockdown, I think, that you and I had a bit of time together where we come up with a bit more of a brand strategy, really, with regards to developing the logos and developing all that kind of stuff. And that's probably when it was probably easier for you to focus on what you wanted to achieve then, because you had a little bit more meat on the bone, really.
Definitely, yeah, and we can see that now, can't we, for sure. I think, testament to your support for me as well. Literally, the last few months, it's just kind of took a new rocket ship, really, isn't it? It's kind of this demand.
You're in a good place now.
Yeah, and it's going really good. We couldn't have done it without you. But so even things, say the logo and all that. But then the branding was the colour and all that. But you're a big man for the colours, and you've studied a bit of the colours, aren't you? I'm going to stick it on you now, and how colours work in terms of marketing.
Yeah, I've always. I mean, when you in the old, because I come from a corporate background.
Yep.
So in the corporate world, psychometric assessments are all the in thing. So, and part of that is identifying where you sit on a colour spectrum, which is quite interesting, really. So Adolf Hitler would have been red. Yeah. Because he's just...
love for Arsenal? Or?
No. Well, I doubt that very much, actually.
Arsenal.
I doubt he had a love for many things, really.
Yeah.
But no. So if you look at accountants tend to be more on your green colour spectrum.
Okay.
And care workers will be green. So it's kind of quite interesting. Whereas if you really want to, if you're a gregarious kind of person or outgoing, you normally move towards the orange colour spectrum. So, and orange for me is where I thought you needed to be at.
Yeah.
Because it needed to be positive and engaging, and orange makes people feel good.
Yeah, and it ties in very, very well with obviously the high visibility side of construction and people understanding
That was just luck. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
It had nothing to do with it.
yeah, no, but it's good, isn't it? Because we've actually quite a few things with the logo and stuff like that. A few people said it's like the yin and yang and being mental and positive health and all different things. There's a bit of football in there, a bit of rugby in there, the sports side of it.
Yeah,
it touches on a bit of everything. But,
well, it's important because that's the conduit of everything you do. Is sport.
Yeah, in the bolt as well. There's a bolt as well, the construction side.
I'm glad you called it a bolt. Because when you first approached me and said you wanted to use a nut, I wasn't sure nut was the right thing to use with mental health.
Yeah, but twisted nut doesn't go down too well in a...
No, it's quite painful as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably. That's another thing. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. But how's so you've also done the branding of construction sport and helping with that, but you've obviously been a key part of the rebranding of first response site services as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, I come from a corporate background, and I reached a stage of my life when it was our wedding anniversary, and I was sitting on the Amalfi Coast in a place called Positano.
And the other half live?
Sorry?
And the other half live?
Yeah, well, something like that, yeah. It cost a lot of money, actually.
Did it?
And my phone wouldn't stop, and I was getting a little bit of grief, quite rightly so. And I was getting stressed, and there's a lot of stress in my family anyway. You know, my mum had mental health issues, so I kind of, I just reached a stage when I was on that holiday that I decided I'm not doing this anymore. So I went home, I put a plan together, I ended up giving up a well-paid job, and then had 3 or 4 months off. And then thought, what do I want to do? I want to go and do something creative. I want to try and, use my head a little bit more. I don't want to get involved in technical stuff, really, And what happened was I turned up at first response offices and met David Blundell, who's one of the directors. The business is owned by David and Danny, who you know, they're brothers. And it was quite a nice meeting, to be honest with you. It was just so down to earth. There was none of this corporate-y type. It was just a nice, earthy conversation. And of course, looking back, I was probably a little bit too critical, but I was critical of the branding straight away. Yeah. And I was also critical of the messaging because I didn't know. I mean, I'd done my research. I'd read the website and everything else, and I genuinely didn't really know what they did from a service perspective. And that seems to be quite a common thing within construction. I think it's probably quite old-fashioned in many ways. Yeah. So I just sat there and I said, look, I think your brand's all over the place. I think your messaging's not very good. There's a lot of spelling mistakes, little things like that, really. And he could have picked me up and thrown me out the window, to be honest with you, because I was, but to be fair to David, he listened, asked me if I wanted another cup of tea, and I was there a couple of hours, and it was just such a nice project. Yeah. Because it's such a good company. They're nice people. It's family business. They're all just really nice people. So it was quite easy to buy into it and actually really want to do something, not just for my own reasons, really, my own vanity, I suppose. But also because I thought, it would be a nice... I think they needed to do... Well, I know they needed to do it, and it's been proved right now, really.
So you've done all the branding, you did all the brochures, everything, haven't you? To the full... And obviously we know how big these brochures can be for hire.
500-page catalogue was the challenge.
Catalogue would be the word, yeah. So it's not just, obviously... first response, obviously, hire and site supplies, isn't it? Everything, correct. Really, yeah. So pretty much everything.
Yeah,
there.
I mean that was the. I think that was the problem that they had, is that they did loads of things, but they hadn't put them into containers. Yeah. They've only got 2 containers. They do site supplies and they do tool hire. Yeah. And that's what they do. Offshoots of that will be things like outsourced procurement, which is something that actually probably needs to be promoted a little bit more, because when you're on site, the last thing you want to do is spend hours searching around trying to find products. Yeah. Whereas it's much easier just to pick the phone up and get somebody else to do it for you.
I think that's exactly... We've been obviously first response as well, being the name, and you kind of have to live up to that as well, don't you? But I think with Danny and that especially, and I know this firsthand because I've construction business in the background as well, and I know firsthand when you need something, like you say, you haven't got time to be ringing around. But one thing they are good at is getting things to you very, very quickly and getting the right product to you. And obviously that comes at I'll say it cost, but it's fair. It's definitely fair, because by the time you put in that, I think it's great value for money, really, what you get in terms of not just blowing the trumpet because they support construction sport, but from a business perspective, when I need them, it's massively helped.
Yeah, I think when you're working on major projects, I mean HS2, I mean they're part of the supply chain for HS2. You know, people can't stand around not working.
No.
So First Response had probably because they're a smaller independent company, they can make quick decisions, so they can send somebody out to go and pick something up that's needed 2 hours time down at London Bridge or wherever it happens to be. A lot of businesses can't do that.
No.
They're just not geared that way. You know, it's like, this is what we do and that's it.
There's a process and there's too many steps. By the time you get it, a week later, job's over.
Yeah, exactly.
I see it firsthand, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's the construction side then, but sport then, Kev, what has sport kind of played in the life of Mr. Downton here?
Yeah, it's helped me stretch my legs. I'm probably 2 inches taller now than I would have been if I didn't
really
play lots of ball. Okay, probably not. Hey ho, that's what it is.
Big Arsenal fan, aren't you?
Massive Arsenal fan, yeah.
For your sins
Arsenal
at the moment. Yeah, it's a tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one at the moment.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it really. It's we've got a young manager, we've got a young team, so our time will come.
Yeah, that's it. It's a roller coaster of emotions, isn't it, the football game? But what have you played then over time? Because you've always said to me this before. You said I was a bit of a sportsman, athlete.
I'm 59 now.
Yeah.
I've probably been playing football since I was, 7 or 8, school teams, Saturday and Sunday football, Saturdays and Sundays for a while, until I got hurt. And there was a time when I thought it might be a career. Mm-hmm. When I was probably 13, 14, 15, I was good. I was quicker than a quick thing. Yeah. Now people say to me, you've got deceptive pace. Yeah, you're a lot slower than you look. So I get that quite a lot. But no, I used to be really, really good, skillful player. And I was at Leighton Orient, I was at Millwall. Unfortunately, my dad couldn't take me to training sessions, so that kind of stopped. It's just what it was, really. It was, you didn't have the transport you got now. And trying to get from North London across to South London was never easy. Yeah. So I did 2 training sessions at Crystal Palace and just couldn't get there. Yeah. So that sort of ended. Went into played semi-pro football for a little while, probably 2 years, until I got really badly injured, which I knew was coming because he told me. So I probably took liberties. I was probably a bit too confident, and he taught me a lesson. So, and as of today, I'm struggling with that injury. That knee. No. It's bad.
We had a little kick about last week, didn't we? A group of us.
And I got kicked. I got kicked there, didn't I?
Kicked again.
Yeah. How'd you get kicked when you did this?
Must have those kickable bodies. You're a kickable footballer, basically.
Yeah. How can you go past a 25-year-old and he has to bring you down? Yeah. It's like ridiculous. Yeah.
Unfit scaffolder, wasn't it?
That's bullying. Bullying. He just
in the workplace.
Yeah, he just put one on him. That's what it was.
No, superb. So then, how do you feel sport obviously helps you in your day-to-day work life, really, as well? In terms of you've said this, you come on the walk with us as well a few weeks ago, and you've written a few bits on there that you're going to put out eventually. But
that was interesting.
Yeah, so the walk. Yeah, talk us through the walk then, and how you've looked at it.
Yeah. Do you know, I've played football all my life, and I can count on one hand how many blisters I've had. Yeah. That walk, I had blisters on every toe. I don't even know how that's possible. Honestly, my feet were on fire. Yeah. My legs seized up.
You're supposed to be promoting this.
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was great experience. Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, the best thing that come out of it was the fact that I slept for 16 hours after I'd done it. See? I don't usually sleep for much longer than 8 hours, but it was quite a challenge. Yeah. The warning signs were there when we turned up for the pre-walk briefing, I suppose. Yeah. Once I started clocking some people wearing lycra, I kind of suspected I was going to be in a bit of bother here. I had a massive rucksack, more biscuits than you can throw a stick at, a huge flask, 2-litre flask of coffee, and these guys were all, having these water bottles with things coming out of their rucksacks, and I misread it. Yeah, I got it wrong.
But you said to me you were targeting half a marathon. How far did you get?
Well, my
But you said 59-year-old man, never walked a marathon in his life, ran a marathon.
Yeah, with little legs, so
little
it's
legs.
twice the distance.
Twice the distance.
I did. I think I stopped at Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't stop. My legs stopped.
I think you must have been on about 23 miles, hasn't you?
Yeah, it's about that.
23 miles?
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah, it was. I think it was the cobbles that did it. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, those cobbles were...
Tower Bridge.
Yeah,
we went down to the cobbles there, didn't we, through India Docks, I think, Tobacco Docks area.
That's correct, yeah. That was where I ground to a halt and disappeared into a doorway somewhere until I saw your dad's taxi.
Yeah.
And the relief, that was unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
like winning the lottery. Yeah.
my dad's never been such a welcome sight.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, my dad was a London cab driver, so he was actually the support driver on the wall, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was brilliant.
But how did you feel it was for the group of 54 of us, isn't it, I think? Was you quite surprised how, as a team, it was a team effort? In the end, wasn't it?
I was brilliant. Apart from the pain, look, put the pain to one side, no pain, no gain, they say, don't they? But no, it was difficult, the walk, but the people were unbelievable. I mean, I met so many... some of the people I knew, most of them I didn't, and everyone was just so nice. I mean, they were so... they were happy to hand me painkillers. They were happy to stick blister plasters on my feet.
For you?
Well, not for... He sort of... I mean, Paul tried. He sort of handed them to me. Paul Flannery. But, that was a bit... But no, it was just nice people. It was... if I'm honest with you, I think it was just so... down to it. It's pretty much why I like football and why I like sports, because it brings people together.
Yeah.
And I think when you bring people together, you can have... I just think there's nice honest conversation. That's probably the key word. It was honest. Everything was honest about it. Yeah. Yeah, there's some lovely people.
It's a long time to actually be walking alongside each other, isn't it? That's why I always say to people, it's strange how 10 hours... You end up spending 10 hours which are walking. And I think now we see it more. I'm seeing more from people getting in touch. When's the next one? But people don't realise how much they appreciate that time until a week or two later.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. And also, I've after the event, I was messaged by quite a lot of people. I think they were just checking I was still alive, to be honest with you. But they seem to be making good conversation. A few of them were pulling my leg a bit.
We arrived at the Excel Centre.
Yeah.
We had our fancy photos taken out inside. Nice blue sky, backdrop looked brilliant. The walk is over. All we've got to do now is open the exhibition. We walk through the doors of the external side of the Excel Centre, and then we find out the exhibition's down the end of the Excel Centre. Half a mile corridor?
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't the killer. The killer was the pyramid steps.
The steps up to it.
I left the cafe, and your dad said to me, "Are you able to make those steps?" And I looked over. I said, "My God, there's no way I'm going to get up those steps." The good thing was that my legs were so numb that as I pulled myself up, I couldn't feel the steps banging against my shins. So that was quite a plus side. And then they took the photos, and then we walked into the exhibition hall. Or into the Excel Centre. And then, as you quite rightly say, well, you need a NASA telescope to see the exhibition hall from the doorway. I looked, honestly, I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. We got there, we met George Clark, who was smiling happily away. He seemed quite a happy chap, him.
Yeah.
And we were all sort of grimacing, weren't we, standing around waiting for our breakfast that never arrived. Yeah. And a beer. And I was just getting comfortable, thinking, oh, thank God I can sit down now. And, I was feeling really sorry for myself, thinking, I just can't believe I've just done this. And then Callum from Technotrack pipes up, we're going back now, can you come and get your bag? So I thought, there's no way I'm doing that walk again. It's just physically, I'm incapable of it. I knew I couldn't. And I saw this little lad pushing one of these trolleys. And I thought, I'm getting on that. So I called him over, mate, can I jump on your trolley? And he was like, what's wrong with you? I said, my legs, mate. I said, I've got to get to the entrance. I said, there's no way I can walk there. He said, yeah, come on, jump on board. So I jumped onto the trolley. I sat on the side bit. And that was when it all sort of kicked off, really, when health and safety jumped out.
The Excel security
she was quite fierce. looked down at me, told me I should know better.
So you've found pretty much a guy who's just got a new job. He's been looking for a job for a long time. He's got his opportunity to work at the Excel Centre. I really want to make an impression on the Excel Centre and how he can help these exhibitions be successful. He's walked there with his empty trolley. You've jumped on top of it and asked him to push you through the exhibition, and he's pretty much been sacked because his health and safety advisor's caught you. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, it's something like that. But, you know, you learn by your mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't have been kind.
I think he's put his morals before his profession, and I think that's the right thing to do. I think if he goes that for he'll go far with that.
Yeah, to be fair, I did get on bended. I mean, I offered to show my feet, but she wasn't interested.
Yeah, I'm sure she wasn't.
But I did spend ages. I did spend ages actually saying to her, "Look, come on." The young lad was just helping an old man out who can't walk. I said, "My legs are dead." I said it was very. Please don't chastise him. And then she offered to take me down to the welfare van. I thought, I did a quick risk assessment. And I thought, no, this doesn't. No, I can't try. She was fierce.
Yeah.
And I had a large thermos flask and half a pineapple in my bag. So it seemed like it wasn't a risk worth taking. So I walked down I didn't walk down the stairs. I sort of dragged myself down the stairs. And then the horror emerged that actually the car park was another half a mile away.
Yeah, it was a mission, wasn't it?
Down a hill.
Yeah.
Luckily, gravity, took hold and pulled me down. And
but apart from this massive positive experience that you've had,
I'm really looking forward to the next one.
You can't wait. You'll be involved in the next one for sure. I'm sure you'll be there. You're the voice of these every time you come along. You're entertainment.
I have a holiday planned, once you give me the dates, I can book my holiday, can't I?
You got to tell us your holiday first, and then we'll do the dates around there.
Yeah.
The day before
it was 35 miles, isn't it?
We've got a 35-mile one coming up, but there'll be this stuff that you can join along the way. So 35-mile, it's an ultra marathon, a marathon, or a half a marathon. You can join at those points or join wherever you like.
How many steps?
A couple.
Yeah.
A couple more.
Yeah.
Double for you.
Yeah, I'll bring ropes next time.
Yeah, but no, brilliant. Well, thank you for coming along, Kev. It's been good to see you. Good to hear about your journey with the first response with construction sport. Massive thank you for your help along the way. We couldn't be here without a shadow of a doubt without your support. So it's been a pleasure, pal.
Nice one, mate. All the best. You look after yourself.
Cheers, pal. That's episode 3 of Keeping Up with the Kerslake. Thank you to Kevin Downton, First Response Site Services. We'll see you on episode 4.